Awesome. Awesome. This is so exciting. Hi, I'm Brittany Rose Green, the owner and founder of Get It Out Coaching, co-founder of the Collaborative Healing Spot. And today I want to talk to you about love and money. And, it's so funny because and you may have seen my post, I don't know, I think it was yesterday. I posted that I really wanted to kind of reassess what my favorite topics are, what my focuses have been, what really speaks to my heart, and kind of how I want to serve and show up for the world. And part of that are using the lessons that I've learned. Um, and some of those lessons have been trying to understand the dynamic and the relationships between my family, myself, money, finding a partner, finding a husband, calling more money into my life, and feeling deserving and worthy of that. And what I realized the most, which is the craziest, is that these two topics are like the two hardest things for people to manifest. And if you are with me, please let me know. Two hardest things to manifest. And it's typically because they are operating on the same frequency, right? This worthiness principle, this worthiness frequency. So we want to talk a little bit about that today. I want to kind of debunk some things for you, help you understand a little bit about some ways that I have used to call love into my life, money into my life, and provide you with some simple yet effective tools that maybe help you bridge the gap between where you are today and where you're headed. So just give me a quick moment. I'm also streaming live on Facebook and on Instagram, so I want to say hi to you guys. Elizabeth, thank you for joining. Hillary, thanks for joining. Just give me a second while I take a look over here. I just want to get my dashboard set up. Uh-oh. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. So I took notes. I wanted to make sure that I covered everything as thoroughly as I possibly can in our time together today. Feel free, if you are here, to ask me questions, especially on Instagram, because I can see you right now. I see people are watching on Facebook, which I'm really grateful that you're here. I might not be able to see your comments, but if you leave a comment on Facebook, I will definitely come back through and answer them after we're done. So let's talk a little bit about love and money and how they're on the same frequency. And it sounds kind of weird, right? They're two very different things. Love, money. A lot of us feel a lot of guilt around loving money, and if that's even, a good thing. I think some of us have learned and been conditioned since we were children that money is the root of all evil. And so we have these kind of weird concepts or kind of weird thoughts around money, right? So like, how could money and love be on the same plane? It feels very odd. And then we also have love, right? Which is like, something that we feel we all should have, feel that we all deserve. But for some reason, for some of us, it's really hard to call that into our lives. It's really hard to even understand, like, why can't I ever find a good partner? What is so difficult about finding somebody to love me, who wants to nourish my soul, who wants to show up for me and give to me the way that I give? Why is that so difficult? Hey, Angela. Hey, Anna. I just want to say thank you so much for joining. Again, if you guys are watching the live on either Facebook or on Instagram, feel free to leave me some messages, leave me some comments, and I will answer them as we go through. So we want to talk about the worthiness principle, and like, this is really the thing that kind of bridges the gap between money and love. And what I found to be very true, especially in my practice, is that the women, specifically the women that I work with, tend to like be really strong in one of these areas and kind of falling short in the other. And a lot of them are like, I don't even understand how this is possible, right? Like, I am kicking ass at work, like I'm really, really good, or I have a husband who loves me, or I have a partner who loves me, but for some reason I just can't get the income that I want, or I can't seem to find the career that I want, or I can't find the love that I desire, right? So there's like one aspect of this equation that that gets blocked, that gets stuck. And if that's you, feel free, like, let me know, is this something that's happened to you, where you felt maybe you were really great in one area, either love or money, and the other one you just couldn't figure out, right? You couldn't figure it the fuck out. I know this is how, like, honestly, this is how I lived a majority of my life. And what I decided to do is I decided to focus on one area first, and then started to translate that into the other area, which proved to be pretty successful. So let's talk about why this can be translated, right? Why worthiness is really what is bridging the gap between money and love. And it's truly this aspect, or this understanding of, like, what you believe that you deserve, what you believe that you're worthy of. And sometimes we believe we're worthy of money, we'll say, because we work really hard, right? Or our parents gave us really amazing money mindset tools and made it seem very simple and easy, right? It seems very, like, structured, right? So money comes really easily and naturally to you. You don't even think about it. And so why is it that when it comes to love, it doesn't apply? Well, because you're blocked there. Maybe you maybe come from a divorced family, and so relationships always seem really hard. Or maybe you've attracted certain types of people into your life, and it always felt like, man, like, all the good ones are taken. I would keep getting, I keep getting the bottom of the barrel. Yeah, and it's so incredible how that journey kind of flows, and how it feels like, wow, this one thing's coming to me so easily, but this other aspect of my life is really difficult. Thanks. So finding love is hard for me. Weird, because I'm very empathetic. I know, right? And sometimes being empathetic means that you care so deeply, but maybe it's to your own detriment. Maybe it's because you're not holding the same level of boundaries that you would at your job, in the money sector. So it's kind of, we really want to get to the bottom layer, which is like, what do I feel deserving of? What do I feel worthy of? And sometimes when we feel worthy of one area, we don't necessarily feel worthy in another area. We wouldn't necessarily hold the same boundaries we hold at work, or expect the same treatment we have at work as we do in our relationships. And it's like, why is that, right? Why is that? So most of us get blocked somewhere, like we said, and we see these as, like, to me, I see them as energetic opportunities. When we feel that one part of our life is going really well, that gives us an opportunity to translate that same success that we have in this one area into this other area of our life, which is really great. But when you feel stuck, when you feel limited, when you feel like, man, there really can't be there really can't be the perfect fit partner for me, because I keep getting the bottom of the barrel of these people, or there's just no way I'll ever make the kind of money that I really want, because shit, like, my job just won't support it. When we have these constantly cycling back and through our lives, it can be very difficult. Okay, yeah. So at work you're very assertive. Yes, girl, boss babe, queen, I get you. I'm here. I'm your soul sister. That's the same thing that happens to me too. And I had to learn how to translate that same assertiveness, because assertiveness is healthy communication. That same assertiveness is, you are allowed to have that in your relationships too. And it's not going to scare the right person away, right? We think that it will scare the right person away, but if they're scared, then, girl, they weren't for you. Okay. So a really big, like, underlying topic of this is this idea of receiving, right? So, like, what do we feel worthy of? What do we feel like we deserve? And what are we allowing ourselves to receive? Sometimes we allow ourselves to receive promotions. Sometimes we allow ourselves to receive friendships, but other times we have a really hard time receiving, like, maybe we have a really hard time receiving gifts from our partner. Ugh, now I owe them something. Ugh, weird. Or we have a really hard time receiving compliments, right? That, wow, you're doing a great job, or you are an incredible person. I'm so grateful to know you. Like, have you ever felt that before? If you have a hard time where you feel like, ugh, in your body, when you're receiving something from someone else, you feel like you immediately owe somebody something, or you feel as though you're not worthy or deserving of that thing that you're receiving, a raise, a bonus, whatever, then that's where your block is, right? That's the opportunity. That trigger is the opportunity for you to learn where you want to start to heal these sort of false limiting beliefs, these false expectations, this conditioning that you have been maybe born into or whatever. All right, next page. Yeah, girl, I was really bad at receiving, but then I saw what was really cool about it is that I noticed how whenever I started to receive, then it allowed my partner to start to receive well as well, right? Because my husband and I are both givers, and so we both were kind of blocking each other from giving to each other because we didn't receive it or accept it well. And I'm actually going to have him and I have a conversation. We're going to have a conversation that I'll share on here at some point too. But that giving and receiving kind of changed the game for us. When I became a better receiver, he became a better giver. And whenever he became a better giver, I became a better receiver. It was kind of, or yeah, vice versa. Sorry. When he became a better receiver, I became a better giver. So receiving is in direct proportion to what we believe that we deserve, to what we believe that we're worthy of. And I mean, if you think about it, like if you work really long at your job, are you really going to, because I mean, especially for you, Elizabeth, like you have strength, you're assertive at work, and then you're thinking about it, you're like, there's no way that I'm not going to get that promotion because I work really hard, right? Like there's just no way. That belief is so strong in you that it's like, okay, well, why doesn't that translate? Like there's no way that I won't. I'm a good person. There's no way that I won't find my match. There's just no way. And so if you have the belief love is hard work, then of course it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. Now, these beliefs, again, they're easier said than done. So that's why later on, we're going to talk about a little formula to help you eradicate these beliefs, help you kind of identify them and get through them and, work through them so you can slowly but surely start to build up that trust muscle for yourself, to build up that new confidence in yourself about, what you deserve and what you're worthy of. Because when you're worthy, then it's okay for you to receive a promotion. It's okay for you to receive love. It's okay for you to receive compliments. It's okay for you to receive from people in your world. I had the hardest time receiving from even my friends, like the hardest time. It actually kind of freaked me out at times, to the point where they had to tell me, they're like, Brittany, we don't care. We love to give to you. We are your besties. Please just let us give you things. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because I come from a family of narcissism. And what did receiving mean? It meant a condition. It meant that I had to give up something. It meant that I owed somebody something. This is where my beliefs stem from. This is where my belief started, right? About receiving and what that meant. And if I was good enough to receive from people, places, and things. So when you kind of identify the core and the root of where this started, it's a lot easier to start to maneuver around that belief that is not real, right? It's not real. We just kind of adopt it because that's what we were taught and told until we know better, okay? And that's what this conversation is all about, knowing better, because love and money operate in the same frequency, and that frequency is worthiness. And what do you believe that you're worthy of, and what do you believe that you receive, what you believe that you deserve. All right, so I wrote down a couple of beliefs. I wrote down a couple of beliefs, and tell me if these resonate with you. So first, with love, especially if you struggle with love, right? So here's some negative beliefs that may be limiting you, blocking you. I'm not good enough. Is there even anyone left? I will forever be alone. Love is so hard. Where are they? I've been waiting for 15 years. Like, where are they? I must not be lovable. I think every time I find someone, they turn out to be a dud, right? So these are just a few core beliefs that some people have around love. These are some of the things that I thought before I attracted Eric in my life, before I started on my love journey, right, to find my husband. These are real beliefs that I had, right? So then listen to these for money, right? I'm not doing enough. There isn't enough out there. If I earn, then I'm taking from someone else. Money is hard. I never can earn enough. Money comes and goes. I don't deserve to be rich. So if you can kind of like see how these beliefs are basically the same, just with a different name, right? Insert love for money, insert money for love. Like you can, they're interchangeable. And so when you kind of see that framework where our belief systems are kind of coming from the same place of feeling deserving or worthy or enoughness, or that there is enough. Like I can't tell you how many times people believe that if I'm rich, then I'm taking from somebody else. Well, that's not true. you know like like I don't think Jeff Bezos is taking from me because he's a 400 billionaire. I don't really believe that, especially when we're printing money. Just saying. And so that's a weird belief that I think that we have been conditioned to believe. We've been conditioned to kind of think that wealth is supposed to be this very big discrepancy. But I think what's happening right now, I think I read a statistic that about 100 people a day are becoming millionaires a day. Like, what? Can you imagine that? And then those same people probably also, or maybe not those same people, but like people fall in love every single day. Every single day, people fall in love, or they're getting married, or they're, like kind of taking that next step. So, like, these things are happening around us. So, why can't they happen for you? And the only reason why it's not happening for you is because your belief around it. And again, a lot of these beliefs come from trauma. They come from really negative, bad experiences, and those things are real. I never want to negate anyone. I never want anybody to feel as though their past, their pain, and anything that they've been through wasn't real, that you just need to think it positive and then it will go away. That's not true. That's not how I operate. That's not the work that I do. My only job is to help you identify what these beliefs are and remind you that they don't have to be your belief anymore. Remind you that they don't have to be your story. You get to choose a different story. And there's a way that for you to do that. Thanks, Sam, girl. I'm glad to see you're here. Preach. Okay. So most of these beliefs that we kind of come to, right? They get formed when we're young. And, it's funny because like I'm not in the business of like blaming our parents, because I believe that some of us came here to teach our parents something. In fact, I think that all children kind of come into being in order to help teach their parents and pull their parents along, on this journey. I just believe that that's true. And so, our parents, like when we can find forgiveness for them, when we can truly understand that they are doing the best that they were set up to do, that they really didn't have, I guess, clearly they made that choice, or whatever they chose to teach us or, show us was the only choice that they thought that they had. And I get to choose now that I'm an adult to not do the same thing or to choose a different path. And a lot of people come from really difficult trauma backgrounds with their family. So if you're not ready to forgive your family, that's okay. Like that's okay, but there is the part of that stuck energy that is withholding you or keeping you away from the thing that you really want, the thing that you really desire, which is love or money, or maybe it's something else. Maybe it's even just, to me, love is self-love. It's just like any love, friend love, whatever that is. And so these messages are like deeply embedded in our subconscious. So if they're in our subconscious, like how are you even going to pull it out? Like, how do you even know that it's there? And the way that I've learned to figure it out, besides my own therapy, but besides my own coaching, right? Like I have to also hire somebody to help me kind of to help me uncover these things, because some things are just outside of my awareness. I just really can't access them. But the way that I access the things that I can on my own is by noticing my triggers, right? So whenever I'm triggered by something in my environment, that's how I know that it's something that I need to pay attention to. If it doesn't feel good, if I'm triggered in a positive way, like, oh my gosh, I did this thing, I'm validated. Oh, so great. Well, I guess it's good, right? But if I'm triggered in a negative way, then that's something I need to start to look into. And typically the things that I get triggered about the most were love and money, right? So that's why this conversation is here. So embedded subconscious triggers, figuring out what those are, and then using this formula, which we've all seen before, the ask, believe, receive. I know It sounds so cliche. It's totally that like manifestation kind of bullshit, blah, 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 whatever. But the principle of it is so powerful that if you can really start to deduce why people just say ask, believe, receive, and why those three words have such importance when it comes to creating your own worthiness, being ready and to accept that something is good that's coming towards you, that good does happen to you, and then receiving it with an open arm rather than like, sure, I'll take it, which I do too at times where I'm like, I don't know, am I allowed to receive this, right? And so like being open to that, being receptive for God, universe, source, insert whatever you use to surprise you and dazzle you with the desires of your heart. Because I have a firm belief that if you have a desire, like that desire matches God's intentions for you, and that desire is also desiring you. So if you have a desire to be in love, if you have a desire for a baby, if you have a desire for money, then you will receive it. But you have to learn how to receive. You have to expand yourself into receiving, which is the hard part, right? Because that's where trauma gets in the way. Anyway, okay, so I always think it's important to start small. The way that I would start these, even for myself, I would test out these theories with things that I could kind of get on board with, right? Things that seemed easy. So first it was like, oh, free coffee in the office. This was like back when I was a therapist, when I first started learning some of these techniques. We'll say like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And I'd be like, okay, free coffee. I'll take free coffee. Please, universe, I'd like free coffee. So I'd ask for what I wanted. And then I would believe that it's absolutely possible. I wouldn't even like, I'd be like, yeah, free coffee is totally possible. Yeah, whatever. Free parking space or whatever, right? And then I would just kind of release it and just kind of go about my day. And then of course, as the universe would have it, coffee would show up. It'd be piping hot, extra delicious, and not just like, Keurig coffee or pot coffee. No, this is like Einstein bagel coffee. And I don't know if you guys have Einstein bagels wherever you're from, but it's like this, chain bagel store. And they have delicious coffee in a little like carafe, kind of like Starbucks, right? Everybody knows what Starbucks is. And so when I would whenever I'd get that free coffee, I'd be like, hell yeah, free fucking coffee. I received this with open arms. I deserve this coffee, right? Okay, so these little milestones, things like that, things that you get behind, so you can start this theory, start testing the hypothesis of this theory, right? I guess it's not a theory unless it's proven. So this hypothesis, you start testing it, and it helps build up that trust muscle. It helps build up that belief that, wow, I really can ask for things that I want and receive them. And the truth is that we are constantly receiving things that we've asked for all day long, all over the place, everywhere. Oh, from the Netherlands. That's so cool. Awesome. Thanks. Well, I don't know if you have Einstein bagels there. Here in the United States, we have Einstein bagels in some parts of the country. It's weird. And so, yeah, it's like so important because building up that trust muscle is what's going to get you to those bigger asks. And we are always receiving things that we've asked for. The problem is that sometimes we're not conscious of what we've asked for. Like we asked and we completely forgot, which is why there was no resistance, which is why it showed up so fast. And then sometimes we ask for things that we should have really done our research on. And we end up getting things that we really didn't want that we did ask for. And this showed up for me a lot in love. I'll tell you that much. A lot in love, where I would ask for a certain type of guy, make him be hot and fun, and then I'd get a cheater. But he was hot and fun. I just didn't specify. Okay, so we want to just be mindful that you are always receiving the things that you're asking for. It's just a matter of you becoming more conscious and releasing resistance to the things that you struggle with because of whatever is going on in your past. So, okay, so we said start small. So why is asking for what you want so important, right? Because you deserve it. And truly, kind of like we talked about before, it's like when you ask for something that you want. So for example, you're like, I want to experience, I want to go on a date next month. Maybe that's what you ask. I want to go on a date next month. And immediately, as soon as you say, I want to go on a date next month, you feel a lump in your throat. Your heart starts to race. You feel that pit in your stomach. Your gut is like, like when that happens, that means that you have some blockages there, right? That means that you're obviously being triggered because part of you believes that that's not even possible, that there's no way that you're going to be able to find a date in just a month from X, Y, and Z, right? Or if you ask, like, I want to make $5,000 this month, and you're like, no way. How am I going to do that? I'm a teacher. They don't pay me that much. My boss hates me, whatever, right? So immediately, all of these triggers, all the negative thoughts, all these things that are causing the resistance to you manifesting the thing that you want, which is tied to real experiences. Again, this is your ego protecting you from experiences that you already came from, right? It's rare that these things are currently going on. It's something that you came from. And so when you see that happens, that's when you're going to want to start doing some of the work. So when I would do that, I would immediately figure out what those challenges were, what those triggers were. I'd be like, okay, I would ask myself, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel the lump in my throat? What's that coming from? And sometimes I'd get answers like, and I trust my intuition. Again, another trust muscle that I had to build. I'd ask my intuition, like, okay, what is it about trying to go on a date that feels really scary? Oh, what if they don't like me? What if I'm not good enough? What if they think that I'm fat or whatever? I did a lot of online dating. So what if I don't look like my picture? Like, no, these things are real fears that I had. And immediately I write all those down, and then I would challenge them. Well, why are these beliefs not true? Well, like, I've never been called fat. Actually work out a lot. Or I am, what was the other thing? Like, I've been, people like me, people think I'm pretty, people tell me I'm pretty all the time. Like, whatever it was that I could use as real evidence to help challenge those beliefs. In order for me to ask with more freedom, to release that resistance that I was holding onto for whatever it was that I was trying to call into my life. And so asking for what you want will at least give you the opportunity to explore what may be blocking you still. And again, some of these things you might not really have access to. There's a lot of subconscious stuff that people, when it's subconscious, like, it's 90% of our brains are made, or our mind is made up of subconscious thoughts. And if it's buried that deep, it's really hard to access. I'm telling you, even if you're triggered, you may not be able to make those connections. So that's why you would want to go on a journey with someone deeper, so that they can explore that with you, so they can help you kind of navigate around those things. However, at least this is a beautiful place to start, so you can start building your own trust muscle, so you can start seeing this stuff happen for you in real time, so that you believe it, that you start to actually believe and trust in God, source, universe. So then, of course, so after you ask and you challenge all those thoughts, then you go to believing. And so believing can be kind of the harder part, right? So the asking feels very natural. I think we're asking all the time. A lot of us are praying for what we want all the time, praying and praying and praying, like, please give me that thing, please give me that job, please bring me that man. Whatever it is, you're praying all over and over and over again. And it's the believing part that you really need to step into now. Because after you've asked, I guarantee God's already heard you. In fact, before you even said anything out loud or even thought it consciously with your mind, God already heard you. The universe already took hold of it. The universe already knows what it is that you want, because it wants to give you the things that you desire, to experience life in the fullest, to experience life outside of trauma, outside of evil, outside of negative thoughts. This is what God really wants for us. This is why we were created, to be conscious creators and help explore and expand on this planet. But there's so many things that have kind of gotten in the way, right? So we have to start to believe that this is true, that this is really what life is about. And the ways that I dig into these beliefs, because it's really hard. So think about it this way. This is the analogy that I use with my clients, is that when you're trying to change your thought process, it's like you're hiking up a hill. And when you're hiking up a hill, maybe you're going on the carved path, right? And it's the same path that everyone's been taking, right? So it's well defined. And then you decide you're like, I'm gonna try something new. I'm gonna go through the woods. And so you go through the woods, right? And you get a little bit down the way, but then there's a bunch of stuff blocking you. So then you turn back and you head back on the path and you keep going. And maybe you try it again, right? So every single time you try to go down that path, it gets stronger, it gets deeper, you get more familiar with it, you get more comfortable with it. And now eventually, after you've strengthened that new pathway, you no longer use the pathway that was so well defined. In fact, that one gets brush all over it. It no longer exists. That's neuroplasticity. That is why it's so beautiful. Our brains are so beautiful because they are flexible. We're allowed to change our mind about things. We're allowed to change our beliefs about things. And if we change our beliefs, our perspectives change, and then our reality changes. Literally, our reality changes. And so if you think about whenever you're trying initially to carve out this new path, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a little hard. You're going to get a little frustrated, but that means it's working. That means you're actually doing a really good job. So just keep kind of going down this path. And while you're here, these are some things that you can use in order to nourish and nurture this new belief that you're trying to believe, which is, affirmations. I deserve. I'm good enough. I am amazing. I am lovable, whatever that is. Mantras. I deserve good things. One of my favorite mantras is like, I'm building my dream. I'm living my dream while I'm building my dream. Right? How beautiful. Trust phrases like I trust myself, I trust God, I trust the universe. Gratitude. I'm so thankful for my home. I'm so thankful for my husband. I'm so thankful for my dog. I'm so thankful for this glass of water. I'm so thankful for you guys even tuning in here, right? That is deep gratitude and appreciation for things that are actually going on right now while I'm waiting for my thing to manifest. Take notice of the things that you've already manifested. Take notice of the things that have already come into your reality. And if you actually pay attention, you're like, whoa, I actually did think about this a while ago, and now it's here. How insane! Like that really happened. I can't even believe that really happened, because here I am living in my reality right now. Like, crazy, right? So taking notice. One of my favorite things is the miracle question. It's really easy for us to ask, well, why didn't this happen? Right? Well, if you ask that question, why didn't this happen? I'm sure you're going to find a shit ton of reasons, right? Why something didn't come to fruition. But if you actually gave yourself the opportunity to ask, well, what if this was the best day ever? Like, what if this did happen for me? How would it feel if this happened to me? Oh my gosh, can I imagine what this would feel like if this happened to me? Right? And if you get to this place where you're asking the right questions, because our lives are not about the quantity of questions that we ask, but the quality of questions that we ask. If you ask bad questions, you'll get bad answers. So learn to ask better questions so that you get better answers. So what if this thing that I'm asking for was absolutely true for me? What if there is no doubt, there was no way that I wasn't going to receive my partner that I've been asking for? What if there was no way that I wouldn't receive that promotion at my job, or that bonus, or make the money that I want? What if, right? So again, the believing part can be difficult because, again, we're carving out a new path. However, there are some ways that we can start to strengthen that path with our affirmations, our gratitude, our mantras, trust statements, and miracle questions, okay? And then third, receive, right? So I'm guilty of this because I'm a reforming, we'll say reforming because that's probably more true, bad receiver. And I'm learning and strengthening my receiving muscle. And part of that means, wow, now I have to actually accept compliments. If people compliment me and say, Brittany, I really appreciate you, or Brittany, you actually changed my life a lot, I can't be like, oh, it wasn't me. I have to be like, wow, thank you. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that our journeys. See, here I am already like deflecting it. Did you see that? I just have to say thank you. Thank you for the compliment. I receive it. I appreciate it. One thing I started to do, as far as in order to be a better receiver, was just to say, wow, thank you. I received that. And just let that be. Because even just with the act of me saying, I receive that, like I receive your little hearts and your love, like I receive the fact that you're watching this, I receive whatever. I just receive. And that's a great way to start to train your brain into getting into the receiving mode, because the receiving mode can actually be the place where maybe you got everything else right. And the moment, oh, I received that. Thank you very much. I received that, Elizabeth. Thank you. Um, the moment that you finally receive the thing that you want, anybody else here for self-sabotage? The moment you receive the thing that you want, the receiving part might be the thing that actually trips you up. Because now, again, all the worthiness comes up, all the fear comes up, all the doubt comes up. You're like, wow, can it really be that simple? That's something that happens to me a lot, because I've been manifesting shit ton of things really fast. And it's like, oh my gosh, does it really get to be this easy? Does it really get to be this easy? Yes, it does. It actually gets to be this easy. And there's more to come if you would just allow it. And when it comes to your partner, like, what do they say? I mean, everybody says this. When I was single, I hated hearing it too, but it'll happen when you least expect it. And the reason why that's true, even though that statement irks me so much, the reason why that's true is because when you least expect it, you're living your life. You already know that it's coming to you. You are in the receiving mode. You are completely there's no resistance, right? You are just available for the thing that you're asking for, not for anything. You're available for the thing that you're asking for. And so if it happens when you least expect it, it's because there's no resistance around that thing. You've let that thing go, and you've just accepted that life gets to be good no matter what. And so that's really what we're after, right? When it comes to love and money, life gets to be good no matter what. We're always supported. We're always taken care of. And if things come into our life, then we need to receive them with an open heart and an open hands, and not cling on to them and fearing that they're going to leave. So, for example, when it comes to money, because after I cleared up my relationship story, money was a hard thing for me too, because of the family dynamic that I grew up in. And every time I would earn money, like one of my beliefs is like money comes and goes, or money goes as quickly as it comes, or whatever it was, right? So every time I'd receive money, I'd hold on to it, or as soon as I would get it, I would spend it all. I'd be like, oh, it's not going to come back again. I better spend it, right? So this was this fight, flight, or freeze kind of response, this trauma response to money, and it's in my relationship to it. Same thing with partners. This happens with partners too, right? Like you finally get someone, and even if you see all the red flags, what do? You stay in that relationship. You hold on to that person, even you know that they need to go. You know that they need to go, but you stay with that person for way longer than you need to. And that's because of that same kind of worthiness principle. If this isn't it, then it's never coming for me. If this isn't it, then I'll never get it. You asked for what you wanted, and you received part of what you wanted, or you received what you wanted, but now because you are a bad receiver and you're not taking inventory of the thing that that you actually asked for, if you're falling into the pocket of settling versus your own worthiness, well, then now there's an opportunity for you to learn, right? There's an opportunity for you to grow. This is just another lesson on your journey towards finding the person that you want, or to earning the kind of money that you desire. Because the truth is that say, for example, we'll use money. So say, for example, you want to earn, like, I don't know, $500,000 a year, whatever. And you start earning that, but you don't have any systems in place to earn it. You grew too fast. Now you're maybe not able to complete the orders of people who were showing up. Like, you just weren't prepared to start earning $500,000 a year. You didn't have anything in place. Same thing happens in relationship. You're asking for this perfect person, but if you are maybe insecure, or too controlling, or too empathetic, and you're not holding your boundaries, then the moment that person comes into your life, you will not be able to hold on to them, because you are not prepared to receive a healed a healed man or woman, right? You are not prepared to receive the energy that it takes to be in relationship for the long term with a partner who is on their healing journey, with a partner who is more healed, right? So that's what this is all about. This is about becoming worthy, preparing, knowing that it's coming no matter what, trusting in the universe, trusting in the divine, and receiving those little hints along the way, along the journey to your manifestation coming true, receiving it, recognizing it. Another thing that happens with receiving is, just a deeper level of gratitude. Just first off, being grateful that this is coming into your life, but not feeling as though, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is in my life, right? Because if you feel like I can't believe it, then you don't trust that you deserve to have these good things. But if you believe with all your heart and you also are so grateful for the thing that showed up that you asked for, and you're like, wow, this gets to be this easy. Wow, this is really cool. Another really great mantra or phrase is like, it gets to be this or something better, right? Because sometimes we ask for things, but something even better comes along and we may have resistance around that, or we may not receive it well because we're like, that's not what I really asked for. But in reality, it's what you asked for times 10. And you can trust your discernment, like you can trust your discernment to know whether or not this is a good thing or if this is too good to be true. Because typically if you have that feeling it's too good to be true, it typically turns out to be too good to be true. There's something amiss there, which is what I believe your guidance system is trying to tell you. And then let's see, we said build up that trust muscle or build up that receiving muscle by just saying thank you. Recognizing your energy. So when you become an energetic match for what you really want, you'll see how quickly this thing will come into your life, and try to take note of what that feels like. And again, when we're starting small with the cup of coffee example that we talked about, or manifesting, like, I just want to find $5, $10, whatever on the floor, something like that. Or I want somebody to buy me something unexpected. If you just kind of allow yourself to notice what your energy does when you are resistance free and just aligned with the thing, that you want, and then it shows up in your life, that's going to be a really great indicator to use for future things too, right? To translate that into love, or into another area of your life as well. Let's see. Ask yourself. Okay, so another question I think would be really good if you want to ask yourself, what would it take for me to feel worthy of this, and why? So sometimes, because again, the quality of the questions that we ask yield the quality of life that we hold. So if you are fearful of, like, why can't I receive this? Instead of saying that, what would it take for me to feel worthy of this thing? Like, I'm really struggling with this worthiness of feeling like I'm good enough for a healthy, healed partner. Healthy, healed partner. I've never experienced that before. What would it take for me to feel worthy of that? What would that feel like? Can I imagine what that would feel like? So questions like that will help you get into this place of energetically aligning with the thing that you are actually calling into your life, to feel into it. It's so hard. I cannot tell you how often the women that I serve have told me, they're like, I don't think I've ever experienced what real love is supposed to feel like. And I think most people haven't until they have, right? And if they have, more often than not, they might be able to translate that again, or they might remember what that's like, unless there was like trauma or something that got in the way. But if you've never experienced that, it can be kind of hard to even imagine what that would look like. And so, ways that I would help myself imagine is by finding models or examples of relationships that I really cared about, or relationships that I really liked or valued. And if I saw those examples, then it would help me, like, have at least some framework, like, okay, so being in love feels like, it doesn't feel just like happiness. It feels like contentment. It feels like safety. It feels like security. It feels like care. And have I ever had any of those things or those feelings anywhere else in my life? And if I have, what did that feel like for me? What does care feel like for me? What does safety feel like for me? So creating, like, maybe a word bank of words, or not words, of feelings that would match with the thing that you're calling into your life, if it was already in your life, right? So that's a great way to become an energetic receiver of the thing that you're asking for. Because at the end of the day, we really are just looking, we really are looking for feeling, right? We're really looking for feeling. We eat that cake because we want to, we want to feel that dopamine rush. We want to feel indulgent. I don't know. We, we give that hug because we want to feel connected. It's all about feeling. We're searching for feelings. So if you can figure out what the feelings are feelings that you want to have, if you receive that thing that you're calling in, then that's how you can start to attract that thing into your life a little bit more easily. A couple of mantras that I use for money and love are: I don't work hard for money or love. And I don't. The moment I got to so when I met my husband, I was having fun. I was feeling confident and flirty. I knew that it would happen no matter what because I asked for it and I desired it. And I knew that God was good and that God was going to take care of me. And if this desire was in my heart, that it was there for a reason. I wasn't desiring to be a nun. That wasn't my jive. I was desiring for a life-term partner, a lifelong partnership. And so because I knew that so deeply in my core, because I'd worked on that belief for a long time, finally I got to this place where I was able to have fun with dating, because it was fun. It was just meeting new people and getting to know people. And if it didn't work out, well, great. That means I'm closer to my husband. And I started to have more fun. And then my husband found me and we found each other, and it was super easy and flowy and just kind of, I mean, it's been like that our whole relationship. Same thing for my career. Like I got to a place where I was like, being a therapist is beautiful and I love it, but I want to be able to work with people in the Netherlands. I want to be able to work with people across country. I want to be more expansive than working in an office. And I kind of I want to be able to coach in the way that feels good for me, not the way that I've been trained or, kind of told or taught to be a therapist, right? I want to be more intuitive, and that should feel good. And so because I did that, it expanded me to earn more. It expanded me. Yes, embodiment, Sam, embodiment. It allowed me to become this version of myself that I had been kind of daydreaming about before, right? Like currently I'm living my dream while building my dream. It was always my dream to be able to talk to people on the internet from wherever you are in the world, from the comfort of my home. And that was what I always wanted. I wanted to be able to travel and do this work. And so it wasn't hard. I just aligned with it. I believed it was possible. I trusted that it would happen as long as I put forth some level of action. And then it started to show up slowly but surely. But I had a lot of beliefs I had to pull out before. I had a lot of beliefs I had to delete and destroy and clear out so that I could actually start to believe the thing that was true, which is that my desires are desiring me as well. I get exactly what I desire just for being me. So true. I am enough for anything I can desire. I love you, Sophie. Thanks for watching, girl. God really is good all the time. I get to enjoy life fully. What I desire desires me. I trust God. I trust the universe. I trust myself. I'm allowed to be a conscious creator. These are my mantras, y'all. These are the things that I try to tell myself every day, if not in writing, definitely in my mind. And it is something that's going to change the game for those places that you may feel stuck in love and money. And again, start small. Start small. Because if you try to go from zero to $10,000, you're gonna get blocked. You're gonna believe that this is horseshit, this is not gonna work, blah blah blah, and it will feel like that over and over again. So just start small. Start with $5. Start with free coffee. Start with getting if say you're dating right now, getting a like by somebody that you were really interested in. Just start really small. Put the intentions out there, like, what if this could happen for me? What if this could happen for me? How would that feel? What if this could happen for me? What if this could happen for me? It happens to all these other people. Why couldn't it happen for me? What's different? There's nothing different about me. Like, I'm human. What if this happens to me? So these are just some things that, I think are just really helpful. And it all goes back to worthiness. What do you believe that you deserve? What do you believe that you're worthy of? What do you believe that you're worthy of? You can truly, 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 from the bottom of my heart, truly have what you desire. It's just a matter of aligning yourself with your ability to feel worthy. And trauma will get in the way. It will get in the way. It got in the way for me, and it still gets in the way every once in a while, but it's not necessarily the end of the road, right? It's just an opportunity to see where you're blocked so that you can get unblocked. Thank you so much for being here, Elizabeth, Sophia, Sam. Who else is here? Bern, Dawn. You know, I'm just so grateful that you guys showed up. Leah, Hillary, like Angela, Anna, thank you so much for being here. I'm just so grateful to have this conversation with you. If you want to continue this journey deeper and fuller and allow me to walk with you side by side to help you uncover some of these beliefs, these subconscious things that you may not see, well, you can just shoot me a DM and then we can talk about what that journey looks like. Or if you want to kind of have something like this, it's a little bit similar to this, but with a whole variety of different coaches that I have hand vetted with my colleague and my co-founder, Miriam Pop. You can head over to the Collaborative Healing Spot, and that's $19 a month. And it's a space like this where it's a safe space for us to talk about the real things so we can all have a beautiful time healing together in community. So those are the two things and two offerings that I have right now, and I'm really interested to continue on this journey. Thank you so much for watching. If I can end it. Bye, Facebook. I'll get to your questions later. Oopsies.